Justin Bieber is fighting for his life.
You just a little bitty bitch for sure. I've been the shit.
In a recent video on X, he was seen in a delirious state, leading people to believe the worst about this boy wonder. In fact, on his story, he had something that made people assume the worst. But how bad is it, and how did he even get here? It seems like not that long ago, he was climbing the ranks of the music ladder, with his videos on YouTube gaining a lot of traction. But his rise to fame wouldn't be all sunshine and rainbows. In a recent live, he reminisced on this time in his career.
You know, there's so many things that stood in my way. Like, you know, I was trying to get signed and people were like, you can't have a deal. You can't get signed that young. You're not going to be successful unless you have a TV show. So we like went to Disney and Nickelodeon. I was like a terrible actor. Like I had no experience. I never acted before. Like obviously I could learn. But like at the time I was just like not at all, like just wasn't, I had no experience.
But despite the odds being stacked against Justin at that time, he persevered, eventually creating the hit One Time in 2009. That would set the trajectory for his career. And it wasn't before long, Justin had superior celebrity status with 14-year-olds across the nation. But unfortunately for Justin, this attention would come from the wrong people. In the wake of the accusations against Diddy Combs, videos like this one make Justin's rise to fame a little more sinister.
Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Only our imaginations can begin to tell us what really happened between them. But based on Justin's interactions with him after, it seems like something definitely went down.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yikes, that is hard to watch. When you're young and you get put in a position like that, where you don't really have anyone you can share this with, it's no surprise Justin looked at other methods of releasing his pain. And it was around this time Justin got introduced to the world of drugs. Now, I'm sure it started casually, but it didn't take long for the world to know what Justin was doing. It seemed like no matter what kind of pain Justin was in, he couldn't find a way to hide it. And it didn't take long for things to escalate. Justin was arrested for driving under the influence and resisting arrest. Justin Bieber's squeaky clean image, the blonde-haired kid from Canada, will now be forever tainted by this moment.
All right, the first case this afternoon is Justin Bieber. Mr. Bieber, you are charged with the following.
It wasn't until years later Justin opened up about how bad it really was. And it's because of that reason people suspect he might be in a deeper hole now. But how would Justin ever find himself in this situation? Hasn't fame given him enough to not warrant doing drugs? I think it's obvious at that level, Justin's living a different life.
Well, I'm just trying to do my job, man. I want to make me look good to everybody in the whole world.
Not that close.
All right, sorry, brother.
How do you feel that's going to make me look good?
Imagine going to a store, to an event, to your friend's house. Maybe there's something going on in your life that people don't know about. And right as that's all running through your head, someone comes in with a camera asking you leading questions. Because the DUI tattered Justin's image, he's not as afraid to get a little bit more aggressive with the paparazzi. Needless to say, it was difficult for Justin to navigate the pressures of fame, and it felt like no one could understand him. But that was until he met Pastor Carl Lentz. For the first time in Justin's life, it seemed like he had someone that understood him, someone he could trust, someone to be a shoulder to cry on when he needed it the most. At this point, it seemed like Justin completed his hero's journey arc, and he was finally back to the boy he was when he was young. It was really in this environment Justin had an opportunity to work through the things that he'd been through. But being at the level of fame Justin was, it was only a matter of time until his past began to find him. Sometimes it's the people that we initially trust that end up hurting us the most. And unfortunately for Justin, another relationship was about to experience this. His pastor friend Carl Lentz ended up having a church scandal. He said he had had an inappropriate relationship with his maid, which caused the church he was the pastor at to kick him out. I'm sure in this moment, Justin felt betrayed. I'm sure he experienced a similar situation with Diddy a while ago, and now he's reliving that trauma. To make matters worse, as the Diddy case went public, a lot of people suspected Justin had his own challenges behind the scenes.
Has anybody seen Justin Bieber's Instagram? He posted shipping containers with a photo of a baby on a blanket underneath. Captioned, "I got anger issues too, but I want to grow and not react so much. Yo." In the same post, there's a picture of him as a child. And who remembers a few months back when there was demands to open the shipping containers? Look at the location, Diddy's house, and look what's right here. Look. Evergreen. And who remembers this episode of Dexter? Evergreen. Remember Harry found him in the shipping container? Bro.
Now with mourning the loss with pastor friend Carl Lentz, and the whole situation with Diddy hitting the mainstream, Justin needed to find an escape for his pain again. And he went to the one place that helped him out last time. But the difference between this time around, when Justin was in this lifestyle, was the types of things he was on. A lot of people have been making comments about Justin's sickly image, and many are starting to suggest that he needs real help. On top of this, he still has to deal with the pressures of fame, and even with the paparazzi.
Money. You don't care about people. Only money. Only money. No people. You don't care about human beings. Go. Go. Go.
Justin started to post pictures on his story of the things he was taking. And then shortly after, posting videos like this that got a lot of people concerned.
I fly high like a magpie. I go high like I'm that guy.
People's biggest concern about Justin right now is who he's surrounding himself with. On his most recent reel on his Instagram, it seems Justin has plunged deeper into his downward spiral than ever before. People are suspecting the man in the video to be obviously a negative influence on Justin's life. I guess all we can do right now for Justin is pray for him. But Justin isn't the only one having a tough year. YouTube's favorite corn star, Emily Willis, has recently entered a coma. If you want to learn more about her story, click this video on your screen. I'll see you there.